You're watching SBoy TV.
All right, who we got on the backdrop right now? Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Tommy Papi here. I'm with SBoy Entertainment, and make sure you check us out.
Let's get it, man. Tommy Papi in the building. How did you come up with the name? Is your name Tommy already, or?
So it's funny, it's not my government name, but I was dating a girl in college, and I used to wear a lot of Tommy Hilfiger. So she would call me Tommy Papi, and I kind of just like made it into the moniker, and it's just stuck ever since.
So when you get big, you know you got to pay her then, right?
She don't know. I don't want her to know either. I'm paying 40%.
All right, there we go. We just give it a shout out to her.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, thank you. Yes, absolutely. I would definitely give you your split. Anyway.
All right, man. Let's start at the beginning, man. What was life like growing up for you, Tommy?
Life was so I grew up on Linwood and West Grand Boulevard. I've been there for like 5 years. Moved to Pontiac, came back to Detroit. So it's been a lot of moving. Kind of sheltered kid at first, and I haven't really found myself until I started doing the music thing. And ever since then, I just feel like I'm more and more becoming who I'm like meant to be and everything.
Yeah. So moving like that though, do you think that kind of like it's like a lot of different cultures in moving in Pontiac, Detroit, and South? You know what I'm saying? So like, how is that for you when you create music? Like, is that in here? Can we hear the Pontiac in there? Do we hear the?
I definitely a lot of Motown inspirations, but like when I was living in Pontiac, a lot of Pontiac was had hot competition with Detroit, but Detroit had no competition with Pontiac. So if I said I was from Detroit, like man, fuck that, all stuff like that. They try, so I had to represent as I could, and I definitely got love for both cities. But I'm a Detroit baby, man.
Detroit baby, man. We like to hear that. Okay, so I did hear you say that when the music came in, is that how you got to it? So when did you get into the music though? What age?
So I just started it's weird because I'd hear like an amazing Jay-Z verse on the radio, and I'm like, oh, I can do better than Jay-Z. So I'd be like rapping over his while he's rapping and things like that. I didn't really start writing though until I was like 19, 20, something like that. And I just put on YouTube beats, write little mumble freestyles, the whole thing. But I didn't officially start recording music until oh my gosh, 2019 or anything like that. I released my first song at 22. So I was a late bloomer, really. But yeah. I've always had it in my soul. I just never thought that I could do it and things like that. But yeah.
You definitely had to have it in your soul. You think you was doing that Jay-Z?
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. I was like, yeah, man, it's only Jay-Z. It's only Nas. You know what I'm saying? Now as I'm at my age now, I'm like, oh, I'm dumb as hell for thinking that. You know what I mean? But it was... It was that confidence that made me want to try and do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you wasn't doing music in school?
No, I did a electronic music program for a bit, and it was just like advanced garage band, a little bit. And I made some really dark ass beat, and people were like, "Oh, this is fire! You have it in your soul, but maybe you should go to therapy and things like that." I was like, "Okay, cool." But I didn't really push it past that until I started I know a little bit piano, not enough to really do a whole performance, but enough for producer chords and things like that,
So what type of student was Tommy in school though?
Oh, I was asleep in class. I'm gonna sit in the front row so I don't so I can pay attention. I'd be asleep in front of the teacher, and the teacher would be they wouldn't say anything to me. They'd just be like, oh, this guy, you know what I mean? But very much thought that I was too smart for school and doing homework, but then later on, I should have just sat down and did it. You know what I mean? But I loved being around people, and I loved communicating with people and be trying to do things last minute as a group and kind of get together oh, let's figure this out. Let's we can maximize our time doing this and all the things like that. So it was definitely. It helped me a lot to be able to do projects and production and things like that because you got to snap like that. You got to be able to adjust and things like that. But it took me a lot longer to realize the logistics side of music. You got to do the invoices. You got to do all the LLC things, and it's part of the process. But I think this journey made me. I wouldn't have been able to do it without that, if that makes sense. Without the without the freestyle, without having to be able to adjust to whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, you seem like a people person too.
I hope so. I get that a lot. I get that a lot. I'm very nervous. I'm a very nervous guy. But like when I'm around when I'm in the artist community, like, oh, we can talk about music. If I'm at stockings and we're like talking about stocks and all things, like, man, I got nothing to talk about here. You know what I mean? But I understand the importance of being able to be in those spaces and things like that. So you gotta adjust and have to stand on your toes and shit like that. 10 toes on that shit.
Yeah, so even in the creative scene here, there is a community here. How do you find your space in that, like navigating through that?
It's weird. I'm like I said before, I'm a sheltered kid. I didn't go outside a lot until like maybe recently, and then I went to a program called Detroit Hispanic Corporate. Yes, and I started out doing this program called Southwest Seeds. I did my first performances there, and I just was really welcomed in by Southwest Detroit community. Like, made all my friends there. Like, I really started to find myself and was able to grow as an artist through that. I wouldn't be where I am without Southwest, honestly.
That's real, man. That's dope. Yeah. And then it's so crazy how like those moments can really turn to real long-lasting friendships.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is anybody that you can say that you met in that community is like a real friend to you at this point?
Oh my gosh, I met so many people. Like I've met the people at DHDC, like Sandy, Baby Bell. I met Knox before. I think I met Aztec Nando, Doce Quetzal, like a lot of like Southwest like community members that like have always been around, have been like setting the foundation for like the music scene, and like being able to step on their shoulders and being able to uplift it is like, it's such an honor. You know what I mean? I never thought that was possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope. We had Doce on here too, Doce Quetzal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's great. He's great people. He's really wholesome. Really wholesome.
And he battle rapper too. So
yeah. He just won his last battle. I don't know if it was this past Saturday or the Saturday before, but yeah, he's doing his thing, man. It's dope.
Can you see yourself battle rapping or
no? I'm too. I get to. I'd be like, I don't want to hurt their feelings. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I mean, they're gonna get mad at me. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not quick enough. I like the art of freestyle is incredible. Like I'm just now getting confident to do that, but like I've seen, just to be able to create a structure, a line, and then like have to report to someone battle rapping. That's whole different brain functionings, connections, all things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, battle is if you like a nice people person, it could be a little challenge.
Hey, I see you're doing great in your community and you got great eyes, and I love the way you uplift people. It's like, that's not gonna win a rap battle, man. You know what I mean?
It actually be funny though.
Actually, just to cut you off, like me and my friends had like, let's do a wholesome rap battle tournament, and it never happened. But we were gonna like try and rent out a boxing ring, and then it was gonna be like a compliment battle. It didn't pan out, but we might have to. You heard it here first. It might come out soon. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm telling you, that's gonna go viral. And y'all gotta do it where you seriously saying nice stuff, like
tough face. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be fire. Now, I did see you got some fashion sense, man. What got you into that fashion, man?
It's crazy. This definitely happened over the last couple months or the past couple like the year, but yeah, I think that I've always. One of the biggest thing about like artists, rappers, singers, and all things, like I just love how they dress in a way that's like the next thing, or what's like is like untamably them, and I love that. And I'm trying to, now that I've kind of felt more comfortable in like my artistry and like what I want to be in my brand, I'm like, I want to start dressing towards that. So that's kind of what it started. I mean, I love putting the designs and braids. I wanna do more streetwear shit. I'm gonna drop some merch soon. So I'm trying to do it all 9 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That'd be sweet, because I did see you used to rock the turtlenecks.
Yep, I used to rock the turtlenecks heavy, and I even had a song on Doce Quetzal's song. He's like, what did I say? Oh my gosh, something. I made a bar about the turtlenecks or some shit like that, and people were like, they're like, that was like weirdly hard. It was like it should not work. But I don't know. I'm completely aware of it. Like I still wear the turtlenecks. Come on now.
So you still turtleneck Tommy?
Of course. Come on now.
That's good. I like it though. I like it, man. All right. So, did you face like any challenges growing up that kind of made you who you are today?
Oh, definitely, definitely. You know, everyone's got the family issues, but I think that one of the hardest things was being like Afro and Latino, like my black side and my Latino side, and it's hard to kind of like at certain points, especially in the artistry, like I'll lean towards my black side or I'll lean towards my Latino side, and it's hard to kind of if I do too much on one side, I don't get seen in the other. So it's kind of like the balancing act of how do I represent, how do I make other people in the Afro Latino community kind of feel similar? Like I think like one of the biggest journeys as mixed kids can do POC is like kind of finding out about their culture and finding out like if it's both sides or one side's like obviously you get told whatever middle school, high school, you get around a bunch of people, maybe they're like minded, maybe not, but whatever you define for yourself or what you like set out to look towards where your black roots are. Look where my Colombian roots are from. You know, I think that's makes you the most in tune with yourself and culturally speaking. You know what I mean? And it's the most beautiful journey. Like I'm just starting that, and I highly encourage everyone else to do that as well.
That's real, man. That's deep
Yeah.
too.
Thank you. I appreciate
That's going to impact a lot of people. You need to do a whole tape about that.
right,
Seriously,
exactly,
though.
exactly.
A lot of people battle that though.
Yeah, it's
Seriously.
real. It's real.
All right, like the transparency we feeling on here. All right, so do you remember the first song you made?
Oh God, it's so bad. It's terrible. My friend who I just started music, I just started doing mixing things, and he started doing mixing things like, hey man, we're gonna do this together and all things like that. And he's like, all right, $50 for this. And it was sounded terrible. It sounded terrible. I was so off key, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but you know, it was like my first song. I think I just got out of a relationship and I was like, fuck this bitch, I'm gonna drop this on her birthday. And yeah, it was not. It was a very sad song, but a lot of people resonated with it. I got really a lot of support, and I appreciate y'all for gaslighting me. But now that I hear it now, it's like it's not so good anymore. But honestly, it's like the things that I had to do. I had to go through that stage to be able to do it. And God bless my ex for letting me get those emotions and helping me get to start my music journey. Hit me up if you're free sometime. You know, all the things like that.
That's real. Now, is it out?
Yeah. No, I think I deleted it and I think it's only on SoundCloud. But don't look for it.
All right, so we got to do some research on the SoundCloud. All right, so from that point on though, how did you develop your sound?
It came into a lot of transparency about like my mental health, how I feel, and like trying to like figure out my emotions because I'm a person that has struggles, like being able to process those things. But the more and more I've done that, the more I feel the support of people, but I wanted to make more meaningful and art, and I wanted to make it more artistic, and I wanted to make it more in a way that's more digestible, you know. And I think that I focused more on my writing, and I focused more on like obviously trying to get more melodic, being more figuring out the construction, the production of everything, and to give a whole piece of art, not just like the song. Like every piece of promo has a story that goes along with the song, and it's like, excuse me, that I think that's. I'm a person that I put everything into my music, and it's like it's good and it's bad because I get like very perfectionist, but in that way, I feel like I've given my all to my fans, my supporters, and everything like that, and I just think that I've built something for them to expect that I'm going to keep trying to keep going up and upping the ante and going higher and higher. So from then of like my first single, I was like I took a selfie picture of me holding my head in my hand like on my bed, and it was like super edgy and emo. To now it's just like my next single that's coming out called PNP Freestyle. It's gonna be like it's me like kind of posing, X'd out my face, there's a bunch of crosses behind me. Like it's just a huge difference of like how every detail I'm looking at, how I can make it mean something and how I can make it connect to the audience.
Now, since you being a late bloomer, was it ever a shock to any of your family or friends that you even started doing music at this capacity?
At this capacity, yes. My dad was actually in a band and musician before, but he gave that up for like his doing what he's got to do and things like that. And he's the one reason that got me into Motown, that got me into like oldies, rock and roll, and all things like that. And I found R&B and hip hop on my own. But um, of course, you always get the like, "How's your little music thing going?" You know, it's like, motherfucker. But you know, it. I think that I've had really great support from, especially from my mom. She's like, she'll, you know how people like repost your reels behind the stories and shit like that. Like, hey, I want to support. She'll screen record my reel and then she'll put it, and bless her heart, she's just trying to help, you know. But it's like, it's not positioned anyway. I'm like, oh, thank you, mom. You know, that's all things like that. But she's been one of my biggest supporters. Well, anytime I've like worked with anyone, she'll follow them, heart react, fire emoji, all things like that. But the rest of my family, you know, they're like, oh, okay, he's doing this thing. So, but you know, every time I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to up the ante, trying to do it bigger, trying to work brand deals. That's like, it's just like trying to just keep going up and like make it into something that's sustainable.
Yeah. So even as you build up and up, the sad reality is we're gonna have some more negative comments, some more negative feedback. We might have some haters. Have you already prepared like how you gonna be able to stay sound during that process? Because it's gonna come.
Yeah, of course. Thankfully no one has done anything on my social media that said anything negative. I'm like, okay, that's great. But I've had before, when I was like really pushing out TikToks and reels, I would just like, first idea comes, music idea, boom, boom, boom. I get some negative comments on that. I'd be like, all I would say is like, thanks for the engagement. That's it. And then, you know, either I get a comment back and or they would just stop. So I was like, okay, you know, that works a lot. I've had people that get negative comments on my friends, my artist friends, like, and I'll start fights in the comments. I'll be like, what? I'll be like, that's why your mom in a wheelchair or some shit like that. Like, no reason. Like, I don't know if that's true. I'm just out here. I'm gonna defend my friend. The fuck, like, you know. So it's like things like that. But yeah, thanks for the engagement, or I'll fight other people in my friends' comments.
All right, so you are a part of the clapback crew.
Oh, only on other people's shit. I gotta present the wholesome side. You know what I mean?
I like that, because then they go step for you.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I like that. Now, from your perspective, how would you describe the type of music you make?
You know, it started off as super sad boy, super emotional, but now I want to make something that like people can relate to and like make me feel like in their emotions. And I obviously the next single that I'm gonna do is a little bit on the rap side, a little bit talking my shit. But I mean, I recently did a song with my friend Camila Cantu, amazing, called Deseo. I love that project so much. And that's like a song about like the deepest ends of love, both sides and things like that. And that was like one of the most artistic projects that I think I've done in a long time. And I really have a lot of love for like being able to create something like that, like-minded. And I honestly, I want to do more of that style where it's like it's commercially viable, but so unique in a way that it's like people just can't help but like, oh, what is, like they tune into, because they don't see this stuff. You don't see someone who's trying to in the community to do like experimental Spanish music, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I want to keep like the struggle I was telling you before. I want to keep both sides, Afro, Latino. Like I want to do both sides, which it comes together, you know. But I feel like I don't want to be kept in a box. But I'm kind of going on a waterfall here. But it's like trying to jump between the genres. But what I believe my music is something for people that, you know, they don't feel like they're alone. There's someone has felt this emotion before, and it's like you can hear it and you feel like, okay, I'm not crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's a real thing, and I want to help people. That's all I've ever wanted. So I hope that the music does that.
So we was on point when we said you're a people person, because you're thinking about
right.
people as you go through this process.
Yeah, of course.
So even in that though, like, is your fan group kind of like really diverse for you to have this type of understanding for people?
It's weird because I'm an Afro Latino, and I hang with a lot of like vatos and cholos, and it's like I'm like, and I'm like, I'm Colombian, so I don't really like, I don't know. I'm like, oh wow, tell me more about. I'm like I love learning about the culture. I'm like, yeah, sure, cool. But I think that I've worked in before in the past in mental health. Like I'm studying to be a therapist right now, and that's what I want to do in the long run, of course. But obviously, I'm gonna push the music first. That's my passion. That's my love. But I like to be able to kind of tie both sides into it, the music and the therapy. I want to do music therapy in the future. But that's like a 30-year goal type thing. You know what I mean?
But to me, the reason why I asked you that, that's what I was looking for. It sounds like you're already doing it.
Oh,
And
thank
if you're not like intentionally doing it, you already had the steps laid out. So when you finally do make that transition into it where you like fully focused on it, it's gonna be so clean and your audience is
you.
gonna be ready for it.
Yeah.
So in the process of you creating, you healing people, you healing yourself, it's dope.
Thank
It's
you.
positive, and it's like it's not one of those positive where it's forced. Like I'm trying to be positive, like you know what I'm saying. It's clean, it's dope. Okay, I like that. All right,
Thank you. I
so
appreciate it.
is there any artists out there that you kind of are inspired by, or you look up to, or you kind of want to work with one day?
Oh man, I mean, I gotta go with the classic of like Slum Village, like there, and that's still very possible. Like it's very possible to work some of Slum Village right now. Not like just because of my artist brand right now, but they're still doing music. They're still I see them still doing shows and things like that. So
Okay,
that's
cool.
something-
So let's do a pitch to Slum Village.
Oh
right now.
shit. Okay. All right. You know,
You can look directly in that camera.
This camera
Yeah,
right
you can
here?
do that one. He say,
I'm calling out to all my. You know, I gotta do. I want to be with John Legend and Kanye and y'all, man. That sounds like it's amazing. Y'all have really changed the game of Detroit. Y'all put Detroit on the map, honestly, and that's like some of the most like inspiring things I've ever seen to see like from the city, from the absolute roots of it, and like go commercial like that, like and still be like authentically y'all. That's the goal. So let's work. Let's do some things. That was not how I sing. I promise. I just got so excited thinking about y'all, and I love y'all, man. Let's work.
let's work. Let's go get it done, man. Let's get it. Let's go. We rooting for you. All right, so you kind of told me. I was going to ask you what's your why, but I feel like you kind of told me it when you talked about people and mental health and everything
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
that. So I think you're still on point with that. I don't know if you had anything to add to that or anything as far as your why, but to me that sounds like that's what keeps you going. That's what keeps you pushing.
Yeah, and just being creative. I love doing every like having a hand in every aspect of the creative process. But when it's my project, I'm so annoying. I'm like the worst. I'm like, hey, we have to do it this way. We have to do it this way. You can ask some of my collaborators. They're like, okay, all right, Tommy, like we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? And we'll just do it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You're right. I'm overthinking it. You know what I mean? But I just think that any sort of creation, anything that where you make and people can physically hold it or like auditorily hear it, everything's like that. That I think that is some of the best. That's like one of the best things in my self fulfillment journey, and I feel like a lot of artists as well. It's like you're creating something and people enjoy it, and you can, and it's like, here's a bit of me now. Here it is. See it world, and then you continue to grow. You learn from it, and you just continue to work on yourself every project, every song, every production, everything.
Yeah. So do you ever go back and listen to like not your first song, but like the older, like just the older projects, just to see the progress?
Yeah, honestly, I have this weird thing where I don't listen to my music once it releases, but then I go back after like a month or two, and I'm like, oh, okay, like it still makes me feel this way. It's like I don't know, like I've heard the song that's about to release like maybe 1,000 times, but once it's dropped, I'll never listen to it again. And I know it's so weird, but I think that going back is like it reminds you of like what I was feeling during this time. What is the reasons and what was my intentions, and it brings you back. It kind of refocuses you, and it's like, wow, I can do this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
So what's the process you go through as far as about to put a song out? Do you have like a crew of people that you get opinions from? Do you just go off your own opinion?
I don't show anyone anything. I'm very close chested, but I think that I listen to the song, I obsess over it, and I think of every way it can be expressed, and I try and connect the pieces, and I think that it's gotten to the point where like when I began doing music, I only thought of like how I would react to things, but now it's like, oh, this person I met 2 weeks ago at this event would be perfect for this exact thing, and I can see their voice, I can see it. I need you, and you will make this perfect. You are the key component. Come here, and I've definitely like heard a song and I've obsessed over someone being on it because I just knew, and it happened. I was like, I knew it. It was right. I'm fucking amazing. But it's like, those components are. I don't like to get influenced until its release date. You know what I mean? Because I think I'm very easily swayed when it comes to my art. So I don't even let that happen. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I've never released music ever in my life, but until the day of, you know what I mean?
That's good. That's self-awareness too. Like
Yeah.
defeating yourself, you know what I'm saying? Battling yourself. That's real. All right, so switch it up a little bit. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
I mean, the promotional line is selling out stadiums, but the realness of it is that I want to be able to do this where every project has its own funding from brands, and like being able to do it in a way that's not just it's not just out of vanity. It's like there is a goal and we're trying to make something happen out of it. So it's like I said, if I want to do like if like the mental health a mental health project, I would do it specifically to get it to the hands of people who do mental health things.
Yeah.
And like kind of promote it. Maybe go do some clinic work with people. You know, that I want it to be everything intentional, and it has a product that will help people, or it'll just make it'll make it as big as possible, so it can bring everybody together. That's kind of what I want.
Like that. So what do you think is the biggest thing you learned so far on your journey?
Oh man, believe in yourself. That's hardest thing is like I think that the biggest thing about music, the journey, is that I didn't believe in myself before, but because of the music, I think I've earned my confidence now. You know, if that makes sense. But it's also you got to reel it in, because it's like if you eat too much, it's like, come on, bro. You know what I mean? But I think that believing in yourself is one of the most important things to realize, is that you did this for a reason. You started this because you wanted to have something happen. I know it gets lost in years or months in translation, but going back to those reasons is everything.
Now, take me into those artist conversations, because I know you are around a lot of artists. What type of things do y'all say to each other to push each other?
Oh man, I be on everybody's asses. Let me hear your project, bro. Let's hear what's going on. That's amazing. You should do this with this and this and this. And they're like, all right. Those are good ideas, but I need to, I still have to do like X, Y, and Z. I'm like, all right, for sure. But like, don't forget. And I'll be like, I'll text people like, hey, when you dropping, when you dropping your stuff. I love hanging with artists, and I love being around artists, and I love creating, because it's just like it's just like the mission. It's like the mission of like we are the people that are creating the culture. We're doing this. We're doing all these things that is going to be legacy. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you're holding back, for sure, that's okay. Do what you got to do. But you're so dope, and I want to see you like I want to see you realize that. I love seeing people do the music. I love having new artists come in my studio, and then they're just like they get so excited when they hear their voice for the first time. That's like that just brings me back to the reason why I do it all. It's like, oh, this is like, yes, finally. Like I love it.
That's real, man. It's real. So 2024 is coming to an end.
Yes. How
do you feel like you did this year?
It was a really good year. And and I'm really scared about next year, because I don't know how to top it really, but that's what it's all about, is like just sitting down and figuring it out. You know what I mean? I've got some plans. Might be going to Mexico in February, and trying to see if I can do some shows over there, and just trying to keep creating. I want to be able to do a fully produced album myself. I have a lot of producer friends that like I see them do that. I'm like, that's so amazing. Like I want to get to that point, but I'm so nervous about shit like that. But I think that I want to just I want to get my first deal. I want to sign a deal, or if it's a brand or label, who knows? But I want big things. I want big things, and I always have, and I'm gonna keep going for them.
Let's get it, man. Yeah. I like all that you said. You got me turned up in 2025, man. Before you head out, man, Tommy, let the people know where they can follow you at, so they can stay connected with you.
For sure. You can follow me everywhere on Tommy Papi. I'm dropping a single December 9th. Check out The Cell with Camila Cantu. I love y'all, and let's make shit pop. I love y'all.